Or,
exactly.
I mean, there's a list of things that it gives you.
It just gives you more flexibility.
Versus $70 a month. I mean, that covers your Wi-Fi bill. Maybe.
Exactly.
Welcome to Loans Elevated, the podcast that brings you the latest industry news, expert interviews, and insightful discussions that will help you stay ahead in this dynamic market. I'm your host, Broch Lassig, and I've spent years in the trenches of the mortgage industry, helping individuals and businesses navigate the complex landscape of real estate financing.
I'm your co-host, TJ Heidenreich, and together, we'll cover a wide range of topics, from business strategies that skyrocket your success to mindset and motivation that fuel your growth. Well, we've got a transitional market. Yeah. So oftentimes we're seeing you've either got homes that have been sitting on the market for a couple of weeks and they're open for negotiation, or you've got homes that are flying off the shelves. They've been on the market for a couple of days, already getting offers in. So you really never know what you're going to get. So it
happens so quick.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, it happens so quick.
Yeah. So it's best to game plan for both scenarios when you're talking with your lender. You want to game plan if you can get concessions, what you want to do with them, or if you can't, what the numbers look like.
And you also want to be prepared to be aggressive.
Exactly.
Which we prepare for both.
Exactly. So oftentimes what I see is a lot of contracts we get, or when talking with clients and agents, they want to go after a sales price reduction. Yeah. They think they're getting a better deal by going that route.
Feels better. I mean, heck, if we weren't in the industry, I would be doing the same thing, right?
Because it's common sense. You're like, oh, I'll negotiate for a better price.
Yeah.
What you should actually be negotiating for is seller concessions. And this is the concessions that sellers can give up to go towards anything. Interest rate buy down,
Gosh, we feel like a broken record at this point. It's been the last 2 years of what we've been talking about. But it seems buyers get amnesia, and even sometimes agents forget about this aspect, especially because we've gone from transitional markets like this back and forth to a busier market, back to transitional.
Right.
It happens so quickly, so you have to
pivot and adapt.
Exactly, and bring this back up because it oftentimes can get forgotten about.
Yep. Well, there's actual survey that was out there, and 9 out of 10 home buyers would, after the fact, would have rather gotten a concession rather than a price reduction. I'll say it again, 9 out of 10 home buyers. So 90% of home buyers would rather have this. And okay, why is that so important? Well, I ran a couple of scenarios, and first one, let's say you're purchasing a $550,000 home. And I didn't include taxes and insurances. This is just principal and interest we're running here. But let's say you're putting down 20%. Well, that would give them a monthly payment of $2,927 a month. If they were to ask for, let's say, a 2.5% discount, so $13,000, almost $14,000 off that sales price, that would put their monthly payment at $2,854 a month. So $73 in monthly savings.
Very insignificant.
Yep. So you could apply that towards a temporary rate buy down or a 2-1 buy down. And that would put, and I ran interest rates, stay conservative at like the 7% range. So with a 2-1 buy down, that'd put their rate at 5% for the first year and 6% for the second year. So for the first year, that would put monthly payment at $2,326 a month, or $600 a month in savings. Second year, that would put them at $2,638 a month, or $289 in savings. Huge difference. And the game plan, obviously you don't want to bank on rates coming down. You always want to make sure you've got a good exit strategy, but the stats speak for themselves. Rates are not going to stay this high forever. There's going to be opportunity to refinance. So once that matures and it's at a fully indexed 7% rate, you could refinance if rates are lower.
Well, and something to consider there too. Obviously, you're betting on rates coming down, which there isn't a single economist out there that doesn't forecast that happening at some point within the next few years. All data points towards it. But you also have to consider when you buy the house, it's the most uncomfortable phase. Yep. It's the adjustment period. So you're literally giving yourself 2 full years of discounted payments to get adjusted to the payment, adjust your budget, get used to it, but also make more money, which, I mean, literally everyone I know, maybe there's outliers out there, you're getting a raise, you're making more money each year.
Right.
So you're going to be much more accustomed to that payment as time goes by, so long as you're not picking up other debts. And I think that's what also that temporary buy down does for you. It gives you a larger buffer period to get into the home.
Right. Or you could take that $13,750. You can apply that towards your closing costs. That will eat up all of the closing costs, your third parties, everything, pretty much. I mean, for the
just
majority of
down
homes.
payment.
and then you're just bringing your down payment.
Yeah.
And then whatever's left over, you could throw towards a home warranty or towards a permanent rate buy down, just a little bit of cash, just to help with monthly payment a little bit. And that may help more.
Or gosh, maybe you're okay with the monthly payment.
Exactly.
And you want more cash for furniture when you get in the house.
Right.
Or,
exactly.
I mean, there's a list of things that it gives you.
It just gives you more flexibility.
Versus $70 a month. I mean, that covers your Wi-Fi bill. Maybe.
Exactly. Nowadays, not even that.
Yeah.
So, and what led me down this path is when talking with borrowers, they don't know what they owe on stuff, but they know their monthly payments. What I mean by that, like when you run through a credit report, I'll run through like their debts and liabilities to make sure everything's reporting accurately to their credit report. And I'll be like, okay, you've got a debt with this bank. It looks like you owe this amount on it. And like, oh, I don't know what that is. I'm like, oh, well, it's got a payment of this. Oh, yep. That's the truck loan
right.
or that. Oh yeah, it's the RV loan. Everyone knows their monthly payments. They don't know the balances.
Yeah.
So that tells me that maybe one of the most important things to them is their monthly payment.
Mm-hmm.
So, because that's how they can know whether or not they afford it. So we should focus on getting their monthly payment as cheap as possible.
Well, and I think that they are still, in a way, yes, the price reduction seems attractive because you might be getting a discount on the property, but in the end, they're doing that because they think the payment is going to be lower, which it is, $70. But obviously, with the same net to the seller, you just utilize the funds differently. There's way more savings, which is what you were ultimately going for anyways.
Right. And a question I've got is like, okay, well, I don't want to have my concessions going towards this if I'm just going to refinance this later on. Well, that's where they are confused, because with a permanent rate buy down, yes, it's use it or lose it. So once you spend the money on that permanent rate buy down, if you refinance that, those funds are gone. And if you refinance before your break even period, then yeah, you're SOL. But with a temporary rate buy down, if the sellers are paying for it, any of the funds you don't use is given back to you in form of a principal reduction. That's kind of confusing. So like, let's say
it's almost like you get a discount on the property later if you refinance within the buy down period.
Exactly. So like running back through that scenario, we were saying that rates are at 7% right now. And let's say in a year from now, and who knows what will happen, but let's say in a year from now, that rate goes from a 5% to a 6%. But let's say market rates are at 5.875%. So like, okay, I should just refinance.
Lock it in permanently.
Exactly. So you could refinance that 5.875 and you had a year's worth of savings you weren't able to take advantage of. That year's worth of savings is given back to you. So you owe less on the property. So it's almost like you got that price reduction. So it's more of a risk mitigation tactic.
Which is why we rarely recommend those permanent buy downs right now, unless we need it for qualification. But that's
a different story. Yeah, for sure. So anyways, I hope this helps. If you guys want to run over any specific scenarios when offering on a house or what that will do for you and your strategy on asking for concessions, hit us up. We'd love to help out however we can.
Awesome.
Thank you for tuning in. For more industry insights, follow us on all platforms at LoansElevated.
And to get in touch with our team, call or text 801-713-4000 or visit LoansElevated.com.